one of them is going to unfortunately not be, and we are already underway, both players starting in Link's house with 50 rupees. That is one of the ideal things you want to see at the beginning, because that will let you buy bombs straight away, and it looks like that's what Evanidus was considering for a set, but mostly just going for the kill as, with the pull tree stuff here. There is a tree that you can pull in front of the castle here, and I'm assuming that is what we're going to see, just to see what this tier has. It is 10 arrows. Interesting to see. I'll have to see if that comes into play. The lamp at Uncle! Rip dark rooms. Okay.
That is an early lantern. Always nice not having to worry about those dark rooms. Both the runners are very proficient at the dark rooms, but not having to do them is very nice.
We can already beat the game. We found a single arrow.
The seed's very nice to them. Validation arrow is going to win.
Ooh. Seeing the map there and the sanctuary chest as well is a little bit disconcerting. It does mean that there is a high chance that you will have an item in the dark room of escape. Luckily, they have the lamp, so that's fine. And Evanidus has gone for a safe quit. I only saw Crystal 6 at Tower of Hera there. That was a bit too quick for me, DT. Do it again.
It looks like there's another crystal in Desert and also Eastern. I'm not sure what numbers they were, though.
Okay. So Evanidus is going for a very interesting route here. Having done Uncle and then the escape chest, it is now taking the south route here. There are two bushes here that have a 50% bomb chance. Looks like he got one of them.
Yeah, he wants to get those bombs, try to save the money so he doesn't have to farm for money, or hope he gets money so he can do both the bottle vendor without having to buy any bombs.
Right. Sadly, didn't quite get that. I think you want two bombs here because you want one just in case the race game is available, and then you want the other one to blow the house up in the bottom left corner so you can get bombs out of there. And it is bombs in the race game. I don't think we're going to be seeing those somehow. You are right. All crystals there.
Yeah, just with 6 being Tower of Hera. So it'll be interesting. It does not look like Evanidus is going to go for those free bombs in the race game. It is a bit of a time sink, but...
Oh, was that Quake? Was that Quake in the library there? It was a medallion.
I think so.
That's interesting.
So Quake, now we have no idea if that's going to be required or not. We don't even know if Turtle Rock and Mission Mire are required dungeons. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out down later on in the seed.
Yeah, for sure. One thing I always love is you saw the running guy there was blue. One thing I've always loved with the custom sprites here is that the color of certain NPCs in the overworld is that, oh, nice silvers, is actually affected by Link's sprite. So in particular, like the dark blue, or even the light blue in this case, you see it with the old lady there too. She is not normally blue, but it's just because of certain colors which are in Link's color palette, it kind of changes the color of the overworld people too. Blind is another one, the maiden, that's another common one you see. It's just really fun seeing when it's very different colors to what Link normally has. It's fun seeing how that affects the NPCs in the overworld.
Yeah, that is very interesting. Link is just trending. He trends the colors of the game. So both runners got their silvers. That's going to make half magic. Wow, they're getting some nice items that'll make things just super easy down the road. Silvers, half magic.
Yeah, these are the sorts of things that I actually do quite like seeing early, especially if I get something that actually uses that magic. Getting half magic right now is fantastic. That, on the other hand, I wish I could put back in the chest, but oh well. I do not like boomerangs.
I like the blue boomerang, not a fan of the red one.
I will be honest, I actually use the red one more if I have to use one, but that's just because it travels further, so I find more uses for that. Blue potion too, so we are going to see hopefully a full clear of Kakariko here. I don't know if we have enough money for that now.
It doesn't look like they're going to have enough money unless they feel like farming blind stuff, but that may not be worth it just for the bottle vendor. Yeah. And the one nice thing without having a sword right now, the boomerang does allow them to stun enemies so they can move more freely.
Sure, that is definitely helpful. I mean, the hook shot would be nicer for that, but at the same time, can't, choose what you get all the time. It's interesting to see Evanidus had the bomb, but decided to use it in the chicken house rather than using it to get more bombs, so he still had to buy them anyway. Time-wise, it's efficient, but now you're seeing the repercussions of that if he's having to go in and farm for getting the item from the merchant too.
Yeah, he gambled on being able to get a big rupee drop somewhere, and he's having to pay for it. But he does have enough now. Just one extra trip into the basement of Blind Set.
Yeah. I was going to say, I imagine DT is going to do the same thing here because you don't want to leave this. I've had only a couple of occasions where I've not been able to get this myself, and on one of those 2 occasions I completely forgot it existed because I couldn't afford it at the time, and it had flippers that I needed to progress with the seed. So, you don't want to leave this behind if you can avoid it, especially if you've already got Sit Kid done as well, because then you've got even less incentive to come back to Kakariko.
Yeah, I never like leaving anything behind that's usually easy to check, and I hate things burning in the back of my mind. Yeah. It yields just a heart, which is nice early on to get some heart pieces, but nothing progression-wise.
So we'll just see the opposite checks being done here now. We've got Evanidus going up into Lost Woods. Wonder if he'll pick up the capacity upgrade that was at the mushroom spot. Because I was a bit surprised that DT did. That's not.
Yeah, that was really interesting. In older versions, that would have actually given him a bomb.
Yes.
But that's not the case anymore, so it was an interesting decision.
Rip that feature. I always found that annoying. It was Quake that was in the library. I always found that annoying with the arrows because it didn't give you any arrows back, and it just felt like, well, you're giving me a plus capacity instead of the normal arrow stuff I'd be given. Sometimes I actually would have wanted those arrows.
Yeah. Same thing with the bombs, and now that it's just the same both ways, you can't get frustrated anymore. Evanidus is going to work his way down into the South Hyrule, down to the dam area, and DT likely going down that way as well.
Yeah. So Evanidus didn't check Lumberjack, which is the one sort of difference here, is that knowledge. I can sort of understand why, as we see 5 arrows from the stun pat. That could come into play, because even though you've got silvers, if you don't... Ooh, nice sword. If you don't get a lot of arrows available, or if you use them quite frequently, you might want that stun prize later on in the game when you run out of arrows.
That is very nice knowledge to have, but they do have silvers, so if they can get a decent number of arrows, that won't be as big of an issue unless they just keep missing their shots.
Yeah. So we see just a blue rupee there. DT is going to get his sword in a minute, which is going to be fantastic. Having a sword for Mini Modon Cave is way nicer than having no sword, obviously.
Oh yes, very, very nice. Bomb strats on those they're so unpredictable sometimes. It can be very difficult to get them with those bombs.
Yeah. That said, you still kind of want to use bombs on a couple of them because it could be awkward walking to both sides to get them killed. So if you can get a double hit like Evanidus did there, definitely want to take advantage of that. As we get another sword, already discarding the old one.
And the blue boomerang and blue mail, so already
this
got
is a very blue cave.
Very blue, very blue.
Blue sword, blue armor, blue boomerang.
Was there a blue rupee? Because that would have been amazing.
What are we doing here? Of course, all it really does.
So that's blue. that was very blue.
Very true. All it does is make Cherno more blue, though. There's no difference there. We want red mail if we want to see a different color for Cherno. That's
yes. Alright, looks like they're both making the Ice Rod Cave play, working their way up there. Gotta be careful. Look, they have blue mail, so it's not as deadly going up there anymore. Those crabs do so much damage when you're just in green mail. I remember as a kid just getting destroyed by them constantly.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they still do 100 damage when you've got blue mail, but that's not nearly as bad. Oh, and a glove upgrade as well. That is why you do not skip this cave.
Yeah, and that opens up Death Mountain, and logically they are able to go there because they have a lantern.
Yep. The more sensible option immediately would be to check back of escape, though, especially since you know that there is an item in the sewers bit. If you get the small key here, which is much more likely than getting it in the front half, you can just go and get that item straight away. So, looks like DT is going to do some Fate Flipper stuff here. This is another interesting play right now.
Yeah, not likely to be going into get anything from Zora. He doesn't have near enough rupees, but he'll be able to see what's on Hyrule Island as well as check on the Hobo.
Speaking of rupees, I believe that is what's there in vanilla, right? Is a 300 rupee?
I'm not sure, and there was a key in there, so Evanidus heads down into the dark rooms area of escape. He will be able to go and see what that item is there. Just get that out of the way. Very nice.
Yeah. And this is good because if you did front of escape first, you would not be able to get to the rear part here because that small key is required to get past one of the doors that you see right there. And if you don't have it, which again, back of escape is one of the interesting things about open road, is just seeing that as an option. But yeah, it doesn't look like there's much else down there, but at the same time, this lets you go to the front of escape now and just get all of Hyrule Castle done immediately. So definitely a sensible play. Looks like DT is going to do things the opposite way around. And Evanidus is just going to ignore me anyway and go elsewhere. That's fine too.
Looks like he's going to the Eastern Palace. Got Sahasrahla with 3 chests and a possible 3 items within Eastern Palace itself. Never a bad play. Lots of item possibilities there.
Yeah, and since you've got the lamp, this is +1 item compared to what you would normally be able to get, because there is the big key chest that is locked by the lamp. If you're really unlucky with item placements in Eastern, logically speaking, you can only get 1 before you'd have to stop if you don't have the lamp. Whereas here... Oh, and the bow is there too. That's on the moon pearl as well.
Sahasrahla. Wow. Now. So that full clear on Eastern Palace, that ends up being a great decision by Evanidus to head this way.
Oh, this is going to hurt. I mean, DT is going to have to do this sooner or later because the moon pearl is there, but that is painful because seeing the bow like next to the place that you want it is honestly, it's one of my least favorite locations for it to be because it's not quite vanilla, but it's as good as vanilla, really, because when do you want to come down here if you've got other stuff to do, right?
Oh man, yeah, that's the worst.
Oh, we do see the cape for DT though, so that's interesting.
Now, hopefully he doesn't think Aghanim required right now because they do have access to him with the Master Sword and cape. I imagine he'll check Eastern Palace area well before even going there.
Yeah, so what Evanidus might be doing, actually, but now that I think about it in that sense, is he might be leaving the front of escape until the very last possible check, and then if really nothing else has been available by that point, you can Death Walk and just do Aga from there. That might be what he's going for with leaving the front of escape like that.
That is definitely an efficient play. Let's see what he does here. If he heads out that way, maybe not necessarily going that route, but hopefully he goes eastern and gets his bow and moon pearl.
Right. I think he's going to do back of escape first. Again, just get the whole thing out of the way. I do... Oh, and Titan's Mint. There we go.
There's our Dark World access.
Never mind Aghanim.
Well, this seed is started a little slow and it's paying out big time over in the eastern part.
This would be a bad seed for me in that sense, because I've not been doing this as early as I used to recently.
I like hitting up Eastern early. Like I feel like even if it's not completable, like it's so easy to go, and I don't know, it feels like a good place to go for me.
I mean, it depends, because what else are you going to do at the moment? Death Mountain is at best 2 items, and it's really slow to do. Agina's Cave is really slow and just 1 item, so honestly, if you're looking at it from a density perspective, it is going to be the best idea to go Eastern anyway. So maybe it wouldn't be quite so bad. But even so, like it looks like it would be pretty bad for me starting here.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm glad I'm not playing.
For sure. I mean, you never know. It's always interesting when you're in the scene and you actually have to make the decisions on the fly, and it changes everything, the way you think.
Oh, yeah. But Credit to DT, he is going to go there before going up the mountain as well. Not taking the bait here. I do appreciate this.
Yeah, see, I had that first thought of going Death Mountain as well. I would have taken the bait and not been happy with myself when I found out all the loot inside of Eastern.
Yeah, I mean, even if you were to find something like the mirror or even the hammer to do other stuff up there, doesn't really matter too much when, you know, you're missing Titan's Mitt from there. Like, if you found Hookshot in the cave in order, the Spectacle Rock Cave, and then you could do the other side, well, that doesn't really matter because somebody who's gone to Eastern first is going to have the Titan's Mitt and the Moon Pearl. They could keep going into Dark World Death Mountain at that point too. So, you know.
Yeah. This is definitely, I would definitely say this is the best decision. They both made the right decision going this way. It looks like Evanidus is going to pick up some extra rupees.
I like this. There are 90 rupees in here. This is often forgotten too. People don't tend to think about this that much, but he's very close to being able to do Zora right now. And with the Moon Pearl, you can do water walking as well. So you can get pretty much everything except Zora's ledge item with the current tools that he has available.
Great decision
for the flippers for that.
And he's just 13 rupees short. Probably they're easy to find 13 rupees, and you can always try to get the stun the Zoras for rupees as well.
I spotted a 20 rupee drop in the crab tier earlier, so the crabs walking around did drop a red rupee at some point. So I don't know exactly when. It looks like Evanidus has forgotten silvers here.
They got him so early.
And there's that red rupee out of the popos too.
Oh, he doesn't go get it.
Though.
Okay.
Huh, that's interesting.
Yeah, Evanidus has forgotten he has those silvers, going with the speed strats with the normal arrows.
Fantastic, though.
Doesn't need him.
That strat is slightly more difficult than it looks, just because it's very easy to either get hit during the initial sort of setup, or when you have got them in the downward spiral, you often are too far to the left unless you move to the right like halfway through it as you're shooting the arrows. And so you just miss the last one and it goes red anyway. So...
yeah, I struggle with that. I usually, when I don't have silver arrows, I usually just stay the safer speed route on the bottom.
He just realized that he did it.
That was awesome.
Whoops.
Luckily, he did that really well, so it wasn't too much of a time loss, if any. But
no, it
was
wasn't.
a little frustration.
Is that I just wasted about 14 hours if you consider the two or the Igors as well. I just wasted like 14, 15 hours here. Oops.
that stun prize of the arrows may come in handy for Evanidus now.
Living up to the Cherno sprite, that's for sure.
Oh, yes.
Alright, what have we got,
Dark World check.
Ooh, okay. So five was Thieves Town. We had Skullwoods and Turtle Rock, both pendants. So that could spell trouble for the Fire Rod. And what was the other one? Ice?
I did not see. No, Tower of Hera was the other 5/6. So others...
I was talking about the pendants.
Oh, pendant. That's right. There was 3 in Dark World.
Yes, 3 in Dark World. Ooh, we got a badger over there. It's pretty good. Mushroom in Skullwoods that leads to the Fire Rod. That would be pretty fun.
Oh, double dip Skullwoods. Although double dipping in Skullwoods isn't too bad because it's kind of like you have to double dip regardless, triple dip sometimes because of the way the dungeon is laid out.
Yeah, and it's a pendant dungeon anyway, so it's not like they're gonna want to come back here unless they have to. It would be interesting to see the book come up sometime before they have to come back here, though, if they do. Ooh.
Especially if they get the mirror. And DT did also went and got those 90 rupees, so both loading up on the free rupees.
Yeah, DT picked up a lot of the other rupees as well, because I noticed he had about 377 coming in here, so he has picked up a couple of extra 20 drops as he's gone through as well. So, Very good. Now, the thing with setting up bomb jumps is Cherno, because I was testing this right before it came out. The thing with setting up bomb jumps to her, it's mostly for the left-right ones. If you notice, she's actually flying off the ground. So, like, the back of her legs are further back than what your sprite would normally be. So it can get a little bit confusing if you're used to using things off of the shadows and whatnot. Because you think that your sprite is further away than it actually is.
Yeah. And DT, remembering his silver, is making very quick work of those Armos Knights.
I need to pick up that strat from him, because I mostly do it from top right at the moment, but that looked a bit quicker than the way I do things, so I should learn from that.
Yeah, that was very, very clean. Both of them had very good Armos Knights fights. Evanidus just slightly forgetting that he had silver arrows for a moment there.
Alright, so what are we going to see in this chest here? Oh well, on the plus side, that is both items, as we're going to see an intentional death warp here. I am disappointed that Cherno doesn't turn into a power item like Rumia does, because she totally should, right? But yeah, that's interesting, because on the plus side, we've seen both items here now. If this dungeon does have to be done for the pendant, then it will be a go mode, because we don't have to collect anything else in here. So
yeah. Like I said, it's not really a double dip, because they didn't even actually make their way that way, but it is. It's really weird setup, but it's nice that they got both those items, like you pointed out.
So, if there is something on the Bumper Cave ledge here, this is something DT can do, but Evanidus can't. And there is not, sadly.
Now, Ice Palace is the other pendant.
Yeah. So, yeah, Crystal 5, Thieves Town. Like I said, could be potential trouble for the Fire Rod here. This is one of those seeds where it could be Fire Rodless until Ganon's Tower. You never actually have to do the right side without Fire Rod, but I don't know, it's possible.
Yeah, and DT heading to Village of Outcasts before heading up to Skullwoods.
Yeah. Well, we can beat Aga 1 now. We found the bug net.
Yep, we can go ahead and get Aga 1 now. It looks like DT changed his mind after getting one prize out of the chess game, heading to Skullwoods now.
Now, this is not a play I've seen before. That's interesting. Okay. Why do you think he's done that?
I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he went down there and realized, you know what, let's go check out the items in Skullwoods. We'd have to ask him about that. That was really interesting.
Alright, so we are going to see Thieves Town before the bomb hut here. This is more just an efficiency play. If you remember, unlike me in the last Tony, if you remember to actually get all the items after you're done with the dungeon, this just improves your overall efficiency around the world. So definitely appreciate this. Just have to remember and hope that the hammer wasn't there, because that would have been really bad.
Yeah, and if it is there, hope that there is no item in the chest.
DT unfortunately gets splattered by the firebar there. That's too hard to damage taken off of that because of falling through the hole.
Well, maybe he's just already starting to set up for his death warp. You never know. Although I doubt that's the case.
Yeah, that could happen, I guess. Oh, the ice rod. Okay. Doesn't necessarily need it, but that's interesting.
I hate getting Ice Rod when Turtle Rock is a pendant. It's just, I hate it.
We see Frog Chair now. Because it had to be the frog, of course it did.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always funny, like, if you get the Ice Rod as the first chest, you just go, well, that means Turtle Rock is not necessary this scene then, right? Because you're never going to get Ice Rod if it's not going to troll you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could still be a pedestal seed. There are lots of things that could be there. Oh, DT getting grabbed as well. I think he was saying before the race he is extremely nervous for this. I think we're seeing a little bit of that just now.
Yeah, maybe that was what played into his decision to backtrack after getting the chest item.
Yeah,
it is an important race. Both are 3-2, which the loser has to play in that big tiebreak, while the winner gets the auto advance to the group stages. Get to take a little break from racing and watch the tiebreak race yourself.
Alright, so we see the death warp from DT as well. Some players will, if you've got enough hearts for it, some players will opt to just get grabbed by the Wallmaster instead there, because if you're going to take so much damage anyway that, that guy would come down again, you may as well just wait for him.
Yeah. Yeah, then, if you, like you said, if you have enough hearts for it, DT was low. They both did a really good job setting up the Death Warp, though, so it took that route.
Yep, Saturday's tiebreaker is going to be a bloodbath. It is at the standard weekly time of 3 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, guess who's got to play in that one? There's going to be a lot of good people there. There's still potential for the likes of Christos to end up in there. Of course, we know one of these two has to be there. Both players are absolutely fantastic. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. You do not want to miss it, however the stream is going to be set up for it. I think
it will be stacked, that is for sure.
Absolutely. And only 6 people are going to make it out of it as well. That's less than 20% of the people who are going to be at 3 and 3.
Yeah,
so,
that would be so intimidating to going into. I feel for everybody going into that race.
Alright, so we're down at the basement here. We see Blue Blind over here as well. This is what I mean. Like, it's such a drastic change from normal that it just looks awesome.
Yeah, it's great. I really love it. It's just, is that an intentional thing, or is that just because of the color palettes being changed on the sprite?
It's just because of the way that I think it's just with the SNES not having access to that many individual colors on screen at any time. It had to be the case where some of the characters would, inherit Link's traits as well. Specifically, I think the hair color, because you see the light blue was the same as Chono's hair there. So when that happens and you change that with a custom sprite, it's going to change what's in the game too, because it's pulling from the same color.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not, if it was intentional, it'd be amazing. It's a lot of extra work for anybody making the sprites, but...
Yeah, absolutely. Man, Blind really was a good thief. Had 300 rupees there.
Really good thief. Not much holding out in their treasure, but I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if we saw all the dungeon items. Was there an item in the big chest?
I will admit I was not looking enough at that side as we went through. I shall defer that one to chat, because I'm sure they know.
I feel like I did see both the compass and the maps, but I'm not 100% sure.
That's going to be pretty bad if they have. Yeah, you had to skip the big chest because no hammer, so...
Yeah, you need the hammer to be able to get to the big chest. So, unfortunately, they have to skip that at this point.
This is the only risk, if you will, of running Thieves Town early, but it pays off so much more often than it doesn't, which it didn't really in this case, but in general, it pays off so much more that you really just want to do it anyway, even if it's a pendant.
Yeah, really kind of boring Thieves Town, if you were. They do get one of the half of the way towards getting the pyramid fairy chests.
Interesting digging setup from Evanidus here. Everybody's got their own ways of doing this digging game, which is quite fun. Just seeing how everybody plays this. Time to go. Yeah, time to go, indeed.
That was a lot of digs for nothing.
It was. I think I remember Christos telling me before that you can get optimally about 39 digs out of that game. You only need up to 30, but optimally speaking,
that is
you can get a
crazy.
lot of digs out. Yeah, so obviously Evanidus doesn't have the mirror, so can't just directly take the blacksmith back here. So we're gonna have to take him on a world tour, and we'll see how far this world tour extends, whether it's just a hype cave or maybe up to the pyramid.
That would be a long Froggy World tour, and Bentizi is confirming that there is one item left in Thieves Town.
Thank you for the confirmation. I'm a bad person. I wasn't looking enough.
I missed both items. I thought I'd seen them both, but I wasn't sure. I didn't want to say without a doubt.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, no hammer or flippers for the pyramid here. You're just so used to seeing those by now.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, is this gonna be a hype cave?
Well, not a great start for it.
It has been rather disappointing in this version, and it continues to be very,
The
very
cave
unhyped.
of disappointment. Yeah.
I think it needs an official change to Disappointment Cave.
I mean, I would quite happily call it Cave of Disappointment like every time, but that's
Yeah.
just me.
I think it needs an official. It has been so disappointing in this version.
DT on to the final phase of blind here.
And a really nice blind fight.
Very solid blind fight overall. Couple of hits, but nothing too serious. There was no transition down the screen like what Evanidus had, so that's always good because that can waste a decent bit of time.
And looks, he's going to have Evanidus return the dwarf and see if he has anything important.
Yeah, so this is really awkward to do without Namira, but at the same time, when you don't have much else that you really want to do straight away, this is not exactly a bad play. And it is possible because of the save quit stuff here. I think this was introduced in version 8.2.3, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
Where because of the vanilla behavior, they managed to make it work so that the blacksmith would change from the fog to the blacksmith, going from Dark World to Light World on a save quit. In vanilla, that would actually, they would not change polarity. So if you save quit and ended up in the Light World somehow, yeah, you'd have to glitch to do it. But like if you were to get there without killing Aga, save quit the Light World, it would still be the frog in the Light World and you wouldn't be able to return it. But then if you went to the Dark World, it would switch polarity and you would have the blacksmith in the Dark World. It's really weird. Managed to fix that up for the randomizer so that it is actually correct now, and that is why we had this logic change where this is something that is allowed now, if you will, and that opens up the mirror to be in either purple chest or the blacksmiths.
Yeah, the first time that I encountered that, it was on the purple chest, and I had no idea that was a thing, and I was so lost I did everything possible. And it's always frustrating when you have to save and quit, even knowing that.
Yes. We actually saw in the last tourney, which I think is what sparked the discussion off of this, is Christos accidentally save quit with the purple chest at one of his races, I believe it was versus Unos, and the purple chest was still with him, and he didn't know that was a thing. So he's like, oh, I guess I'll just turn this in now then, because I'm at the house anyway, and it was Boots that was in there, so, you know.
Well then, that is lucky.
But I think that might have given the idea of, wait, this is actually something that is possible in vanilla, so why don't we do something with this?
Yeah, that is interesting, and it looks like DT is going to be following in Evanidus' footsteps, and we're going to get our first desert check by Evanidus.
Yeah, this makes complete sense to do with the purple chest here. It's one of the few locations that you can sort of efficiently route this in with, is when you're checking purple chest. So if you don't have the flute or even the boots to sort of make this a bit quicker, it's not really a place you want to go too often. It's a very out-of-the-way location. Doesn't have anything this time either.
Not going to go check the ledge, the desert ledge. Not necessarily a bad idea. It's just information. You can't get it right now.
So the options we have left at the moment then, we've got the Mushroom, we've got Death Mountain, and then we'd have to do Aga, right?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Alright, so we're setting up for a Fate Flipper here, not using the bomb for this. You can bomb yourself up to the last pixel, and that makes this a little bit easier to set up, but got it anyway, very nice. This Fate Flipper is used to get to the Mushroom spot faster, basically, because you take that whirlpool up to the left of the Witch's Hut, and you can turn in the mushroom straight away. There is also Zora, which is within the logic. Waterfall Fairy is not, but Zora himself is. So Zora could be holding on to something here. And
they definitely have the rupees for Zora. It could be vanilla flippers at Zora.
Yep.
Wouldn't prevent Aga.
No, not in the moment.
This could very well be an Aga required seed. So
Oh,
obviously,
tempered, okay. Well, not immediately necessary, but very good nonetheless.
that'll make every fight so much easier if going out. And Master Sword to Tempered is such a massive difference in especially the Ganon fight.
Yeah, so to go with what the chat was asking, there is no Fate Flipper to Dark World, the east side, but there is a water walk if you've got the Pegasus boots. You can dash next to a hole in Skull Woods, and then you jump south, or you jump downwards off of a cliff, and you can walk on water, which is really weird. I have no idea exactly why it works. I think you just get somewhat messed up in terms of positioning when it comes to the game thinking you've fallen down the pit, but you haven't, and it's super weird. It just, I don't know why it works, but it does, and you can use that in order to get to the east side, but for that you need Pegasus boots. We don't have those yet, so that can't happen.
Yeah, there are all sorts of little weird glitches and exploitations you can do.
Oh, the mirror though. That opens up 2 more locations at the moment.
Still not getting rid of Aga yet, so it's still in the table.
Actually, it opens up more than 2, but it opens up 2 overworld spots in the Dark World, but it also opens up Tower of Hera. So I think we're going to see the Death Mountain play now.
Yes, I believe you're right. That is a big play. We have not seen that yet, so it'll be good to get some intel on what's up there.
Ooh, so DT isn't actually going to Agina's cave here. Is he going to turn in that mushroom straight away?
Looks like he might, and I mean, with the knowledge that we have, this is a great play by him. It'll help catch him up a little bit.
Yep. You gotta wonder from here, though, is he gonna go straight to Zora like Evanidus did? Or is he actually going to do the Fate Flipper stuff to get the Waterfall Fairy as well? It'll take a bit longer to do, but
you get more places checked. I think you're so close to Zora, you check that, see what it has, and if it's nothing good, then you can head on to your fake flippers, because it is, like you said, it is extra time to go check that. Meanwhile, DT is going to get his Temper Sword, be happy to get that upgrade, and we'll see where he goes if he decides to do the full fake flipper route or just head straight to... Nope, he is not going straight to Zora.
Safeguarding. Okay. So, starting from the house, I think he is going to do the Fate Flipper stuff. This is fine, because he is going to get the item eventually. He's just going to take a little bit longer to get it, but he's also going to get 2 other items. And this will tell us maybe the hookshot is there, or the hammer or something, and then you could progress further up the mountain from there.
Yeah, and he will be sequence breaking as he heads to Hobo, which most likely will be going this route.
It would be really interesting if something like the flippers were in Tower of Hera here, which then led to the hookshot or the hammer down here. That would be a really annoying play, but it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, they would be happy to get those, but not really, because it doesn't help them avoid Aghanim.
Okay, so if you took the bait on Death Mountain earlier in the siege, you would have been granted 20 rupees, and that is it. So... yeah. Good job that didn't happen.
Very good. Very good decision not to do that. Definitely on both their parts not to head in that direction early.
Alright, Waterfall Fairy, what have you got for us today? Just... nothing good. Oh well. But on the plus side, DC has checked these things, Evanidus hasn't. Evanidus is likely going to want to do that later.
Yes, yes. It is information which is very vital in the randomizer. DT knows he is done up this way, except for a catfish check, but that's Dark World, so he's done in the Light World up this way.
Yeah. Plus, the other advantage is at least he has the water walk here, which is faster than just walking along the rest of this. So if you walk across deep water here, it's the same as if you're going full speed swimming. So as much as you can, walking along the deep water will actually speed the check up here.
Yeah, and there is an item in the basement, or maybe, sorry, I believe it is the big key.
The big key,
there was a small key, and I believe it was the map that we saw earlier.
Yeah, so that is one Nice thing here in terms of if you have to do the basement, it's a crystal and it's forced to get the big key, so you're not going to have any advantage or disadvantage compared to your opponent here.
Yeah, and also this is the second half of the 5-6 for the Pyramid Fairy. They don't have
Yes.
access to it yet, but that is 2 more chests that are becoming available as soon as this dungeon is completed.
Right. Yeah, there's no way, even using glitches, there's no way to get this just yet. You need the flippers.
Yep.
Or the boots. There is a really long-winded way that you could do it with, again, using the water walk, but that is never going to pay off, and don't ever bother learning that.
and they also can, they still have to possibility of killing Aghanim to be able to return it, and of course if they get Hammer, that completely negates Aghanim, and they will also be able to return the bomb, or turn the bomb in for the fairies.
Yeah, I guess this chat is sort of pointed out there of the super dodge tile. If you can dodge a ball, you can dodge a tile. There you go.
My mistake was the compass earlier.
Alright, so we're going to see this. This is another awkward bomb jump. You need to be within 2 pixels of the gap. And there's the hook shot. Oh, man.
Okay. This opens up East Death Mountain.
Yep. And, again, Titan's Mitt has been picked up, obviously, for quite a while now. So that Titan's Mitt is going to let them do Darkworld Death Mountain, too.
That hookshot opens up a significant amount, and that just keeps reducing the chances of Aghanim being required. So many more items available now.
Well, at least it's not like my race seed yesterday. The hookshot is not on the pedestal, so...
And to answer Kaney, if I said that right, it's hard to say who's in the lead. Evanidus might be slightly ahead right now. DT does have some extra information that Evanidus does not have, and they just got the hook shot, so they are going after this Tower of Para. They're going to be heading over to East Death Mountain and Dark Death Mountain, most likely.
One key point that is different here is that DT's done the front of escape, Evanidus hasn't. If we're going to see a Pyramid Fairy check at some point from Evanidus, we're likely going to also see him then mirror and do front of escape as well. So that'll be some time later on. There was the cape there, which is an interesting safety, but at the same time, when you've got Tempered Sword, not quite as necessary.
And a quick shout out to Unagi Roll for the Twitch subscription. Thanks for joining the Speed Gaming.
Absolutely, it is really nice seeing new subs and such come in here as well. It's great. It's a great place to be. There's a lot of really awesome races that go on here, so all the support is very much appreciated. Much love.
All right, as DT is taking a little coffee break, Evanidus is heading into Paradox Cave to check out all the plentiful chests there with the boots.
Oh man, and then we get our Sunshine after all.
There we go. That was a nice little red cave.
Sorry, DT, you have to light all 4 torches before you can get the key here.
Ooh,
and the flute as well.
I think Aghanim is all but dead.
Oh, this is something else. Alright.
Alright, so they both are making the right play going to Tower Hera. Logic pretty much dictated that.
So this is a good example of a bomb jump which is much more difficult than you would like it to be when you have Cherno because of her floatiness there. You still generally rely on the shadow anyway, but when you're used to sprites like, regular Link or, most of them really that cover the back pixels of the gap there, seeing somebody who doesn't do that, it can be pretty jarring because you need to be on the last pixel of that gap. There is no leeway unlike stuff like, say, the Ice Palace bomb jump or even the Tower of Hera bomb jump's got 2 pixels of let, but that one's actually, I believe, pixel perfect. So it can be a bit jarring when you're not used to it. But I imagine Evanidus has played a lot with this sprite. If it's anything like me, playing with the same sprite all the time, then I imagine he knows this really well. So, lots of practice.
Yes, and Chad has pointed out that all of these items were accessible without the Titans mitts in Eastern Palace, if they had gone that way with the Power Gloves, they'd been able to get all these items.
Sure, they needed to get the mirror from Zora, but yeah, everything that was picked up there would have been available before going Darklow.
Yes.
Oh, DT is on the fast phase. He got a poke as the first attack here. There we go. Good stuff.
Gets the clean up there.
Excellent clip through the block there from Evanidus as well. That one isn't too difficult, but it can be very easy to, get the clip and then not be able to move to the right if you're not fast enough. So, good job on that one too. Just some capacity upgrades for him. Not quite what he wanted to see.
Nope, but with Hookshot, and one other thing that's open is also Hookshot Cave, which he will be getting close to here. And we'll also get our first check to see what pendant Turtle Rock is, what medallion it is, even though it is a pendant. I am sure he will go check it just to have that knowledge.
Oh, the shovel. Okay. What are we gonna have at the digging spot?
All right. The mushroom had the tempered sword, so a nice upgrade. I'm gonna go with fire shield behind the shovel.
Okay, that would complete the redness. I would appreciate that. I didn't see what medallion was required there, but I'm assuming
Quake.
You haven't got the flute activated, Evan. Whoops. I mean, I wish it came pre-activated. That would be awesome, but... Alright, Quake for Turtle Rock. That's pretty good. DT is, of course, picking up all the fun stuff here as well, so we'll see that in a sec.
Yeah, and then we're going to get our shovel check, so we'll see if it's that fire shield. That would be great to get all that redness, and then I'm sure he's likely to head and activate that flute right after.
This is an interesting way around. I can completely understand this. It is red, but it's not quite what you wanted.
Dang it.
I can understand why you would do things this way around. It is tempting to route that in when you were to check Haunted Grove Ledge, but at the same time, you might not just want to check that at this point, so... fantastic spin speed there as well. I really love seeing that. I don't do it nearly often enough myself, but it's always great seeing that, especially when Agadim has been beaten, so you're getting around Usain Bolt the guard as well. Very, very fun stuff.
And we're getting our Swag Duck Anthem out, and also they had also checked Stumpy to go along with your point about the routing. They'd already checked Stumpy, and so it is a little bit more out of the way to mirror over there. Wouldn't have been terrible to go that way, though.
Right. Yeah, Quake was on the bookshelf, so that is definitely interesting. I would have picked that up before doing this check here, because you might be able to use it.
Yeah, I agree. You know it's there. You know it is possibly required. We still don't know if Turtle Rock is required yet.
That looks like Ether to me.
Ether.
Okay. So, vanilla dungeons then. Interesting.
Alright, so it looks like we're looking for Ether as the for sure required medallion.
Alright, so nothing too great. Although a good heart refill actually is kind of nice, but nothing too great in the Maya shed here.
Rubel Quake is on library bookshelf.
Alright, Checkerboard Cave has the shield you are after. It's like, no, I don't want this. It looks like a rock. I don't need this.
Yeah.
What are you going to defend with a rock?
Alright, so we're going to see our first Desert Palace check now that we have access.
You skip the shield because it's not that necessary. It's nice to have, but it's not really that important, let's be honest.
Yeah, these runners are pretty good. They don't need the extra protection from the shield. And one of the most
fire rod, there we go. I
All
thought it
right.
might be a bit of a problem item in this seed, but it's been picked up anyway. That opens up Ice Palace as a potential play. There is no hammer, and it is a Fate Flipper, but that doesn't stop it from having stuff. As DT's actually going to go check the King's Tomb here. So this is something that Evanidus didn't do because of the way round he wielded this. I wonder if this... Oh, and there's the hammer!
Oh, baby.
Oh, that's big. Between the hammer and the fire rod, I think the hammer is probably more important here because that now opens up Palace of Darkness as a play.
Yes, and also that opens up Swamp Palace.
No, because no flippers.
Oh, correct,
there's
right.
the ether. Okay.
Okay.
Wow, that's really cool. Ether and fire rod is it's pretty good. So
That is a nice desert.
now we just need to see Canis Samaria and the flippers, and we are good to go, I think.
I think you are correct. Yeah, just flippers and Canis Amaria. We have everything else.
Okay, so flippers in Misery Maya for Ice Palace to have the king.
Would be trolley. Double dipping Myers is never any fun.
No, I know that one all too well.
And
Flippers in
Bolton
Turtle
Vanola.
Rock?
Cane cannot be in Turtle Rock because you need the cane to even access it.
Yeah, this isn't overworld glitches, so there's no chance that the king can be there. I believe in overworld glitches because you can do a clip to get to the key chest in Turtle Rock. Then in that case, you can have the Canis Samaria in a couple of places in the dungeon. Oh, not going for the silver strats here, going for the fire rod instead. Not quite getting as many shots as he would like.
They do have half magic.
Yep.
They do have half magic, so they can spam that away pretty freely. And DT did pick up his Quake, so if they need to go into Turtle Rock, that's a little few seconds that he saved by doing it this routing.
Right. Yeah, you've got a flute now, buddy. You should probably use that. One thing that's always interesting, if you can activate the flute before the item hits the ground, it'll just stay levitating in the air. Like, everything else stops when you've got the flute going. You don't get to pick up any items anymore, so it's kind of fun. Are we going to see? Oh, we are. Maybe. Yeah, just getting the bird away because he wants the bird toss.
Get that those bird toss. Everybody loves to
get
bird
those
toss.
traditional meats going. I actually did this yesterday as well, so I approve. The one you've got to watch out for if you're going to do this is Quake, because the bird is, of course, flying, so... Oh, no, it's a bird carry. Okay. Alright, a bird carry is also pretty good.
I've not seen that before. That was great.
So yeah, glad to hear it was applauded. The Quake medallion doesn't affect the bird, and so the bird will keep flying into you during the cutscene, and you will take damage from it afterwards, just like if you get hit by a fireball after the cutscene ends. So you definitely want to kill the bird if you have to Quake to open the dungeon.
Yeah, that was... I've done that too many times, and I've actually died a couple times from it by having green mail.
Oh, that is a potentially bad location to see the big key here. Because this implies that if there's no items in here that you need right now, that big key is a massive boon to Go Mode Maya.
Yeah, that would definitely be painful to find no items in here, knowing that you could have avoided a double dip and a very quick mire otherwise.
Mm-hmm. That is also what I would call the Andy location for it, because he'll just hover across when he finds it there. So
yeah, those hover mechanics. Alright, DT's gonna be picking up his ether here. It'll be interesting to see if he decides to make the same gamble going into Misery Mire without the red cane.
Right, he's got to finish off Desert first, that much is assured. But I'm not convinced that he will, because he's got the hammer. So Palace of Darkness is open at the moment, and that's, to me, would be a much more lucrative check.
And Palace of Darkness is a crystal as well, so you need to go there anyways.
Right. That is one thing Evanidus, of course, does not have, because it was at King's Tomb, and the way round... Oh, there's your other shield.
There's our red
Had
shield.
to take it anyway, so... no avoiding the shield here. So another interesting reading here. I've never actually seen this be the way round, but I guess because you've got the big key, you'd be really wanting to avoid going anywhere else here. You definitely don't want to do the lamp chest.
Oh man, that cutscene.
Not sure why I didn't drop down and do the big chest first before doing this, but okay. Maybe forgotten he's got the big key?
No, because I don't know, mate. I don't know.
We did see the forget silvers at the start, so
This is true.
I wouldn't necessarily put it past it, but very interesting doing it that way around. I was expecting the big chest to get checked there as well, especially when you're so committed to avoiding this chest in the first place.
Yeah, I or at least check your menu, see if you have it. If you've forgotten, that's a very interesting decision not to go there.
Did DT check the checkerboard cave at all?
He did. He noped the fire shield as well.
Okay.
Looks like he's going to Agana finally, and probably not likely to go to Misery Mire.
That map is going to feel pretty bad. We're going to see... Wait, yep, I still have one chest to check here. I should keep going.
Maybe now realizing that he had the big key the whole time and I forgot another item. Again.
As a side note, I love the fact that the Canis Mario is the item Link is holding on the little thing in the middle. Just kind of noticed that. That's like absolutely perfect timing for that. Alright, so DT is going to head over to Palace of Darkness. Interesting to see this before the Pyramid Ferry, but it is a dungeon. This is V26. And oh my god, are you serious? Oh no! What? Literally, Vanilla Cane. Are you for real?
Okay, so Evanidus making the big gamble and it paying off huge.
Okay, this means that you can go mode Ice Palace whenever you want, because the flippers cannot be in ice because you have to have the flippers to get there. You can fake flipper there though, so whenever you want, you can just go mode Ice Palace.
Yes. Wow, that is great play by Evanidus.
Unbelievable. Like, I've seen Kane in Misery Mire several times before, but I've never seen it literally be vanilla. That is unreal.
The vanilla-ist of vanilla locations.
Oh, ice is a pendant. Oops. That's right. I even said it was a pendant at the start. Oh well.
They still can go mode it. You were not wrong.
But... Oops. Oh well. Well, yeah, you can go mode Swamp whenever you want to, when you find the flippers. That also works.
There we go. That fits with the logic of this seed. And also, this does open up Total Rock as potentially having those flippers.
It does, yeah. Yeah, so at this point, it's hard to say, because hammering King's Tomb is a bit of a weird place to find it, but if Palace of Darkness actually has the flippers, that could be a big problem, because I don't imagine King's Tomb is going to be forgotten for too long here by Evanidus. Yeah. And that would lead to the hammer, that would immediately give access to Palace of Darkness. You'd expect that to be the check pretty soon after. And that would be a very big problem for DT, because I don't think he's going to go to Maya anytime soon.
Yeah, if he didn't do it when he's in the area, there's a good chance that he's hoping that the cane isn't in there and going to find it elsewhere. And this means he's probably going to do a full Swamp Palace clear.
Could well be.
And that's just a lot of extra time that Evanidus is not going to have to do.
On the flip side, as I think we are going to see that chat just now by Evanidus, on the flip side, if it turns out the flippers are in Turtle Rock, that could still be very interesting. Oh, yeah. Wait. Evanidus, where are you going? Okay, checking this one first.
Bonk Rocks, he did not check those earlier. DT.
No, he hasn't checked either. He hasn't checked either of these, but it's just like, I'm just wondering why he's going this way around. Alright, it looks like he is going to check. Scaring me for a second there, man.
Alright, that's good. That would have been, as we know, a very bad decision not to go check this. But he will get his hammer, and he'll be very happy. And this will put him flippers from go mode.
Yeah. I'm glad somebody picked up on the flip side there. Wasn't going to really bring too much attention to that, but since somebody's picked it up on chat, I'm glad that that was called out.
And he's heading straight to pod.
Yeah, I think this is the best play at the moment, because even if you don't find anything, this is a dungeon you generally have to full clear anyway. And as a result of that, you pretty much just want to do it whenever you can. Even if you don't find anything, you're still making good progress.
Yeah, if you have to choose between Swamp Palace and Palace of Darkness as a go mode possible location, you definitely would rather go to Palace of Darkness, or excuse me, have Swamp Palace as the go mode, so he's not having the flippers, hoping that the flippers are in here.
Yes, so it is Cherno that is on the right-hand side, just to sort of clarify this in chat, but different male colors give different colored spikes overall, and Cherno in red male is red. So I guess she's technically Cyrano now, but I hate that pronunciation, so I'm never saying that again.
And for Amy, Quake was in library.
Right, and Evanidus deliberately left it behind too. That's why things could be interesting here. I always think that, especially if you know that it is a required medallion for a dungeon, even if it's a pendant dungeon, I always feel like if it's in the old world and you've seen it, you should just pick it up. There have been too many races I've seen be completely burned by that. Just not picking it up when it's there, and turns out you have to go there anyway to get something, and so you just waste a bunch of time. Especially if it's in an out-of-the-way place like Bumper Cave or something.
Yeah, luckily it's not too terribly far out of the way. DT did route it in really well with doing the shovel check, so that was a very good decision by him. Evanidus, I'm sure he remembers it's there, and if he absolutely has to, I'm sure he knows where it's at. And so far, it looks like Palace of Darkness has not really had anything worth.
Yeah, I've not seen anything noteworthy here.
Yeah, nothing really. So I haven't been paying close enough attention. Believe there is an item on Helmasaur though.
So there's still a chance of it being a thing. Quake was at the library, so with Boots being on Death Mountain, they had the chance to get it because they're activating the flute at the same time. DT took that chance, Evanidus didn't. And I think that's, in general, been sort of the theme of the seed at the moment, is not to sort of doubt any plays being made here, but DT's played this a lot safer, I feel, than Evanidus has. Evanidus still hasn't checked Front of Escape, for example. Even though having done the back part and knowing there's free items in there, still hasn't done that check. Was willing to just go straight into Mire immediately when had the chance. You know, a little bit more risk-taking than what DT's done, and it has paid off this time.
Yeah, it's definitely paid off more for Evanidus taking those risks than it has for DT. That being said, DT is not really all that far behind.
Not at all, no.
It all depends on how long it takes DT to head to Mire, which I believe he doesn't have many other options besides Pendant Ice Palace. And I would imagine he'd rather go to Mire before Pendant Ice Palace. Especially
when it's not actually on the table yet in terms of the logic.
Yes.
DT's been very sketchy on sequence breaking stuff in recent times. He has done a little bit here with the Fate Flipper stuff, but overall has been like most people nowadays, actually, has been quite averse to doing any sort of major sequence breaks here. So that is a distinct possibility. Won't do that immediately. Getting bombed by the Hinots here. Just realizing, oh wait, I need to go down this way if I want to get the bomb. Nice remembrance here.
I believe he was going to go check pyramid item and then realize that he has access to the ferry. Yep. Why not get 2 birds with 1 stone?
Exactly. This is the sort of check I was hoping we'd see at some stage. So good way around to doing this.
And he might route catfish in as well.
It's possible.
I mean, this is definitely the time to check it if he's going to check it.
I love these dashes. I actually didn't really realize about the dashes straight there. You know, I've always just done them at right angles, but that makes a lot of sense doing them that way. Good show, DT.
Very good.
Great show. Just taking full advantage of that there. Man, more strats I'm going to have to steal. Alright, so Pyramid has apparently... Oh, DT wasn't sure if the bomb would explode there. It actually does, and if you go off-screen fast enough, it creates a glitched hole. Oh, there's the flippers! Oh, God.
Ooh, this actually could be very bad.
Yeah, that's not great.
Oh, no. He is most likely going to go to Swamp Palace, do a full clear, which we know is not going to yield what he wants.
So now then yields the question, when is Evanidus going to do this, though? When is he going to check that pyramid?
Oh, man. You know, I the fact that he hasn't got Quake yet, I bet he checks that before he goes and gambles on Turtle Rock. Oh, man, that is unfortunate for DT. Very nice item to find, but not at the right time.
No. It's not all doom and gloom just yet, but that's a tough one to call. Like, having Kane and Maya is a really savage location for it when that's the last item you're looking for.
Yeah, that is so savage. And especially with Swamp Palace now being fully open, you've
got to do it first. This is the sensible play. And again, we know because of being outside observers, we know that this isn't quote-unquote the right play, but this is definitely the most sensible play you could do right now. My one hope is that he skips left side and doesn't go back for it. Because when you're only missing 1 item, sort of makes sense to do. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. It's really hard to go, okay, it's not here. Even if there's 2 items left, I can't afford to go back in.
Yeah, I mean, the other hope is that it ends up being both dungeon items, the compass and the map, so he never even has to bother if he skips it.
Right, and then big key in the first chest, or the second chest, that would be the legendary setup for sure.
That would help DT significantly on this decision. So let's hope for DT's sake that he's able to find those items. And we're not rooting for anybody. We just want a nice close race, and it's rough seeing somebody make those not necessarily even a bad decision. This is a great decision for DT. It's just we know it's not the right one.
Yeah, this is the problem about watching things from an outside perspective. If you're just watching one person's stream when these things are going on, then it's a lot sort of easier to go, yeah, okay, that makes a lot of sense. So yeah, that was a good play. And they still are. But it's just a case of you look at it now and you go, well, this is not where he needs to be. But that's because we already know where he needs to be. Evanidus picking up the Quake here.
Oh, so he may not be doing the Pyramid Fairy. Oh, this could help DT significantly.
This also makes sense as far as the logic goes. This is more playing to the logic than it is being... Yeah, he is. Look, that's... Okay, So this is playing full into the V26, every item is in a dungeon sort of fallacy, right?
Yes.
And it's confirmation bias at its finest, right? There are more items in dungeons than there used to be, because that was like one of the things in the patch notes. They actively said there are more things in dungeons. When V26 first came out, it looked as if, oh, absolutely everything is in dungeons now, because that just, like first couple of seeds we played, pretty much every item was in dungeons. So you get into this sort of biased, like fallacy situation of, well, I know everything is in dungeons, therefore I'm going to do dungeons over every other item, like location. So stuff like this happens where you get dead rob locked. But also, it would have been faster to dash left and despawn them that way rather than going in the cave. But anyway, back to the story. It leads into this sort of mindset where you must do dungeons even if they are pendants, and especially now it feels like pendant dungeons always have something anyway, so it really feels like I have to go here, this is where it's gonna be, that's just it. But it's not this time. And that's interesting.
Oh, DT not checking the 2 items south of here. Oh, he's doing this first. Okay.
Yeah. This maximizes his chances of finding the big key so that he can go back and do this before having to do Argus here. As it turns out, it was there anyway, but there are plenty of times that a big key is in that waterfall chest, and so you want to make sure that you have as many chances to get it as possible. Right, so flippers were at Pyramid Ferry. Kane was literally the vanilla location. Big key chest, not even big key chest, a big chest in Misery Maya. The one place you need it for in this seed so far.
Yes. You do not need it for Turtle Rock, which Evanidus is going into. Oh,
that's the wrong Kane.
He probably got instantly excited and very sad at the same time. Ether was in Meyer.
Ether was in Desert Palace.
Oh yes, you're right. Desert Palace, the very end of the on the right side.
That is exactly what I would have said for that nautical. That's gotta be lame. That's pretty much what I've said up a bit before. Glad somebody else has done that.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is one of those things that, like, Evan went back in and did Maya because of getting Ether for Maya in Desert Palace. DT obviously did not. The one difference here, I think, between, DT's play being like the logical choice to do compared to Evan's, not that either are bad, because this is what Randomizer is all about, but the sensible choice of doing Swamp when you've just gotten the flippers is because you can full clear this dungeon. There was not a guarantee. Oh, beautiful second phase there. There's not a guarantee that you're going to be able to finish Maya. And with the big key being where it was, that was a full-on go mode Maya if I ever saw it.
Yeah, that is. Unfortunately, they will not be able to activate that full go mode Maya. It's because, well, Kane is in there.
Okay, so DT is going to go back and get the other stuff. He did get at least one of the map compass, so a little bit on the unfortunate side, but what are you going to do?
Yeah, almost got a nice clean Swamp Palace with having to do a full clear looking for every item.
Right.
Almost got it.
So this is one big thing that, as Chad is pointing out here, Evanidus' trip into Turtle Rock here is solely his own. DT is never going to do this because he will be in go mode by the time he gets Samaria. So there is no reason for DT to ever go into Turtle Rock in this seed.
Yeah.
So that is really big. I wonder how much that Ice Rod is played in here. Like, having the Ice Rod and, again, being able to full clear this dungeon. I wonder if that played into the mindset at all for Evan.
Oh, I'm sure it did. I mean, I was thinking it well before finding the flippers in the Pyramid Ferry. And that was just, it's not a bad decision. I mean, knowing what he knows, it's really not a bad decision.
Alright, yeah, so in general, you only need the 7 crystals to beat the game. The only reason in vanilla that you need the pendants is to pull Master Sword off the pedestal, because there's no way of getting to Dark World without going through Aga 1. That's the way the game has been designed. But in Randomizer, because you can get items at different timings, you can have the gloves, both gloves, or glove plus hammer, and you can access Dark World portals before the vanilla game would allow you to. So that lets you completely bypass the pedestal, especially in a case like that. How did he mirror? Oh, it's too far over. Okay, I was gonna say, how on earth did he mirror bonk there? Yeah, it's not actually required to pull the pedestal or get any of the stuff that way. So in this particular case, it's just, yeah, there is no requirement for pendants. Mimic Cave with the red rupee here. Mirroring DT's red rupee as well. Oh man.
Left side had just 2 red rupees. Now this is the very important decision for DT here. If he goes to Meyer, then he is on the right path.
I think he's going to check some other overworld spots first.
Yes.
The area to do... that tree. That's all I can say. He's gonna do this. I think he still has the blacksmith stuff to do.
No, he
some
did.
Of it,
he did them.
he did them. Okay, but he's got the hammer pegs over there, so that's something that needs done.
Yeah, he definitely looks like he's gonna do a lot of overworld clearing at this point. And if I mean, we know there's no items in Skull Woods, so unless he's going for the green pendant, Skull Woods really wouldn't be the best play for him.
No, there is Graveyard Ledge to do as well. That is something which we might see, because that would basically full clear the overworld for DT. There's a couple of exceptions, there's like Spike Cave was never done, but...
yeah. And I believe there is that item in the big chest in Thieves Town that he might go back for.
God, I forgot about that item. Oh no. Alright, anyway. Laser skip time for Evanidus here. Bet he's wishing he picked up that other shield now, eh?
Yeah.
Alright, good hook shot to stun the guy. He is getting these laser skips pretty good, done pretty well at least.
And having just found the compass and the map, he is likely going all the way to kill Trinex.
Yep. Oh. Yeah, he just checked his map. Compass requirements there, and DT is going back. Oh no!
Oh no! DT is missing the red cane, which is in Vanilla Misery Mire on Vanilla Big Chest.
At the very least, this is not as slow a check as it once was, because you don't have to do most of the dungeon here to get back. Okay, what I mean by that is you don't have to go all the way up stairs, blow the wall up and whatnot. So, especially we'll be using the boots here as well. This is a fair bit faster than having to full clear Turtle Rock, you know?
Yeah, much faster than having to full clear Turtle Rock. That really, even it could have given him the Butter Sword, has not given him anything.
Nope. Oh, gotta be careful though. Does have the blue potion, gonna use that here. Yeah, so to catch people up, 2 items left to find between the two. We know where they all are. The Flippers being at the Pyramid Ferry, the Cane of Samaria being literally the vanilla chest. There's not much else to say with that. Those are the 2 items that they need, and it is just a case of who gets to that first here.
Yeah, we are in Commentator's Go mode, of course. They have been for quite some time now.
I think the so-called no mode, right? Is the one that you're saying that because we know where all the things are?
Yes. And nothing in Turtle Rock. Frustration slash by Evanidus.
Yeah. I apologize for using the new mic and not being recognizable, apparently. Alright, so anyway, the thing is, both are at 6 crystal... Oh, bombers, okay. Definitely don't want that. It's going to mess your menu up. The thing is, both of them are at 6 crystals. The difference is, when Evanidus finds his item, he has to go and do Swamp Palace. As much as it is Go mode, that is still... Oh, DT, no. What are you doing?
Oh, no, DT. Evanidus is making the
that's
play.
Bad. Okay, so what I was gonna say is whoever finds it first, like DT's Go mode is gonna be much quicker because he's already done all of the dungeon associated with his item, and so he just has to go and beat the bosses like a minute. That's fine. Evanidus's play, he has to go and actually do all of Swamp still. Like he Go modes it, which is still quick, but yeah, that's still much quicker. No, it's not much quicker. It's much quicker now because Ice Palace is being checked.
Yes.
But it's not as fast as doing the rest of Misery Mire in Go mode.
Yeah, this is a huge play for DT in the wrong way. Unfortunately, this Evanidus is going to be getting his flippers, and he will be one crystal away from heading to Ganon. And it is Go mode to Swamp Palace for Evanidus.
And this has got to be frustrating because at this point, you feel like it's not even your fault that you end up behind here because it's in his vanilla location. That's literally the worst place it could be, right?
Yeah, no, that is terrible location for him. It is a tough decision. And again, we know that it's the wrong decision. And Mire was the dungeon that it paid off to dive into the dungeon without the item.
And there was Go mode for Evanidus, frustration slashes as well for having done the play of Turtle Rock here, never having to touch Front of Escape in the end.
Yeah, he made a lot of gambles, and one definitely did not pay off, but most of them have paid off really well for him, especially the Mire play, super early.
Yeah, so I guess there's always the question here then of when it comes to doing a pendant dungeon that you know you can clear versus doing a crystal, looking at your final crystal dungeon for Go mode when you can't necessarily clear it. Like, there's logic behind both ways, but it's like, which way would you go for this? And would you have done what DT's done and done Ice Palace first, or would you have gone into Maya beforehand?
I'm trying to forget that I know where Kane is. Mm-hmm. I honestly, I feel like I still would have gone into Mire. I like diving into dungeons without a required item. It's paid off really well for me. And I also hate Ice Palace, so I try to avoid it as long as possible.
Right. Because I can totally understand this from DT's perspective, and I'm kind of thinking I might do the same, because I, unlike most people, don't actually hate Ice Palace, but that's probably because I can do all the fun stuff in here, like all the different bomb jumps, and I'm pretty confident with my reading through this dungeon that I'm like above average in pace for here, so I could see myself doing this first, but of course, we know it's not going to work out. Luckily, it looks like that was all the items, though. So, DT is out. There's nothing
that is lucky
in there.
Is very lucky.
Is he going to play into Maya now, or does he still have somewhere else he wants to check?
Besides Spy Cave, that's it. It has to be his play, and he is. Okay.
This might still be a race, then.
Yeah, this will be... Depending on if he does a full clear of Mire, or if he goes straight to that big chest after getting the big key early, instead of doing the left side, this could be very close heading up to Ganon's tower.
Alright, so I'm pretty sure he's still going to do the torch room one, because you got to hit the crystal switch before you can get to all the chests on that right-hand side. So I think he's still going to do the torch room. I don't think he's going to want to do the torch block puzzle one, though. That's the one that will take the most time, and if he skips that, then I think we've still got a good race in our hands here.
Yeah, this could be very close if he skips that. If he does that, he won't be too far behind. It'll come down to some execution and gambles.
You can see the nerves coming up here, missing the 2 cycle on the first room there.
Yeah, and you got to wonder at this point with some of the plays that both winners have made, They both have got to feel like they're behind. Evanidus going into Turtle Rock and not getting anything, and then DT diving into Ice Palace and not getting anything either.
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, Evanidus is in go mode while DT is not, but he will very soon be in go mode as he gets his Cane of Samaria shortly going through the dungeon.
Right. So we're going to see another, hopefully, quick Argus skill here. Argus is a pretty difficult boss to do. I think NNG runners have typically told me this is the toughest boss to do super fast, because it mostly involves using sort of hook dash strats to actually get the puffs killed in one shot. Very strong fight nonetheless, though. That's really, really good.
All right. Well, this is our last crystal for Evanidus. He will be heading his way towards Ganon Tower, and everybody knows what that means.
Okay, so you've seen the big key and you've seen one item here. I would do the same thing. Having only one item left, I would try and avoid this chest like the plague. So I definitely do like DT's play here. I hope that he's going to commit to it fully.
He's going to check this one real quick, find a key, and if he goes right and fully goes right, then this could be a very, very close race.
Right. And chat's already preceded us here when it comes to the game, so just in case anybody isn't fully informed, there are 22 chests that the big key can be in Ganon's Tower. I should say locations because the torch is not a chest, but it still counts. And we need to see which one it is in. And the good game around here is everybody likes to predict where it is, and we'll see who ends up being right. There is our Cane for DT. He is in go mode as well. Just has one dungeon here that he is in to wrap up. And oh, this is interesting. Don't normally see this cave come up. The right-hand cave has a shop in it. There's like 5 shops on Dark World Death Mountain. It's kind of ridiculous.
A very nice safety item to grab on your way up into Ganon's Tower. Even though they are pretty well geared, it's always nice to have a little extra safety.
Yeah, there's no potion, though. No powder. So there's no recovery at the top of the tower. I can understand why, when you've already used your blue potion, which DT has not, to my knowledge, when you've already used your potion, I can totally see why you would buy one on the way up. I think it was contemplated where he actually wanted to start from after doing Swamp, but like chose to save quit instead of fluting. Which is interesting in its own right. I wasn't even thinking of that at the time, but interesting that you wouldn't just mirror then if you're going to buy a potion anyway, flute to the potion shop and get a blue one.
Yeah, no, definitely good routing if he is thinking ahead of time of getting that, and it's quicker than stopping off at the witch and picking up a possible blue, which would be nicer, but this is definitely a quicker route. He's got to be feeling like he's behind.
Unfortunately, not getting the hookshot dash up the staircase there. If you're holding your sword out and you're going up a big staircase and you do an item dash with a hookshot out, you actually go super fast up the stairs, but not quite getting it there. All right, Evanidus is gonna do the right-hand side of GT here.
Yes, he is. I imagine he is feeling behind at this point, taking an extra gamble, although he has been making gambles throughout the race, so this may not be necessarily feeling like he's too far behind.
I don't even consider this a gamble anymore, but it really depends on the way that you do these rooms. But I don't really consider this a gamble because it's so quick to do this room, especially if you have good strats like that for it. And at that stage, it's, well, I'm checking more chests per minute than going left side, right? Now, the gamble is if you commit and go full right side. That is a risk, and if that pays off, well.
All right, so that is 6 chests. Nothing so far.
All right, so no committing to that. I wonder what route DT is going to take here.
It'll be interesting to see. We got a blue goo. Salt in the wound.
Blue goo for the not so blue fairy.
At this point, probably wishing he hadn't stopped to get that extra red potion, but it wasn't too much of a time waste.
No.
And so that's 7 chests checked with the torch.
There's our gold sword. Okay. It's not a massive step up, but it does make a 1 cycle on the first 2 phases of Ganon pretty easy.
Yeah, very
and
nice.
The Ecostrads, very interesting.
Alright, easy taking care of them, and that's 11 chests. Heading towards the firebar room for 12.
I like how, since nobody calls it the gold sword anymore, people just don't know. Just don't know that's what its actual name is.
What did you even speak to them? Alright, so DT heads into Ganon's tower.
Some people just can't believe it. It's not. Anyway, what are we gonna see from DT here? Are we gonna? Oh no! Oh, that is the worst way that you could mess that, because now you've got to go back and do it. This is why I've not learned these strats yet. I've started using the other boomerang actually because I saw, I think it was Magus using the red boomerang. If you can get the diagonal shot just right side, yeah, screw this. I'm just using Samaria now. DT's also going to go right side. Okay. If you get a diagonal boomerang off with the red one, you can actually hit that switch, but it's really kind of precise as to where you can be to do it. So it's a bit annoying, but you can use both boomerangs in that room.
Yeah,
Don't
that is
throw the red
definitely
boomerang
a
straight
swag
down
strat if you can get it with the boomerang.
Yeah, don't throw the red boomerang straight down though, trying to do the same thing that Evanidus was doing to the blue one there. It will go through the wall.
Yes, yes. That's my problem when I use the red one.
It just goes through walls. Does what it wants.
Yeah. So that is, so we're heading to 13, 14, 15, and 16 here.
Oh, it's not there, but DT is mirrored, so there is no full right side from DT either. Unfortunate. This would have been a case where it would have actually paid off. Potentially.
If he had gone right, he's going to skip the extra blue
He's
goo.
got one. He doesn't need another. He's on 14 hearts red mail half magic. There's no need. Interesting from Evanidus here. Not entirely sure what he was going for there. Maybe you're trying to set a bomb up rather than doing the bonk, but he just showed he could do the bonk anyway, so I don't know what was he doing there.
I'm not sure, but I think nerves might be getting to him.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. At least he didn't pick up the other pot, because you could bomb jump across that gap. It's actually not that difficult, but at the same time, it is not something you want to do under pressure. And yeah, picking up the other thing there, which would have been nice for the magic, but picking it up still would have been pretty bad.
Yeah, and he gets a little bit of redemption on the Armos Knights with the silvers this time.
Those Armos Knights are really annoying even if you don't use silvers because they lag anyways, so there's the big key. Does want to pick that up just in case.
I believe that was 18 if I counted correctly.
Yeah. So interesting, a full right side would have been faster.
No, that's 20.
Yeah, because there was only one chest in there and then tile room was the last chest, so...
Yes, it was 20.
That's a pretty rough GT.
Yeah, it is. And if they had committed to that full right side, they would have definitely been a quicker GT.
The thing is, when you commit to full right side, you know that it's going to be on the torch. And everybody else has already picked it up and you're just wasting a lot of time.
Yeah.
Not talking from experience at all. What are you on about?
I don't think... And nobody's done that.
I love the hookshot from DT there as well. I don't normally switch items after that. I don't actually think I've seen anybody switch items from there before, but definitely makes sense to use the hookshot for that spot. as we're seeing the gauntlet started here. Always interesting to see silver arrows and such used in the gauntlet. Fire Rod does wipe out mini Stealthos without burning them, so that can save a bit of time.
Yes, and those I-beams, having a little bit of fun with Evanidus in that last room.
Beamos are the worst.
Oh, man. Especially on the ice, where you're almost there and they just knock you so far away. DT's about to get his big key right here.
Alright, we're gonna see Silver Arrow Landmo. Evanidus has got to be careful. He is running low on hearts here. I know this is what you got the red potion for, but gonna use the blue instead. Okay.
He was low on magic, so not a terrible decision.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure I agree with using the blue there, but then again, that's because I would have probably... Neither player's done so, actually, but I would have picked up a lot more of the small magics that are in this place. There were 2 in the Spike Crystal Switch room that could have been picked up, and then there's a couple that they didn't pick up during the left side as well that could have refilled them there. But yeah, since you're right, they were both low on magic as well, so it makes sense. Does make the Ganon fight slightly more worrisome though. If you're stressed out already, you might end up overcommitting to stuff here. But he doesn't have the cape to use, so...
No, he does not, and DT does, but they have half magic, and Red Mail, Tempered Sword, probably not going to need to use cape strats.
No, not when you've got half magic as well. It's... Well, if the Wind Waker is anything to go by, blue goo is made of blue chew juice, right? So it's electrified somehow?
So that's how they get their magic. It makes sense. Oh, and I misspoke. I said Temper Sword, and I forgot that they both had gotten the Butter Sword in Hours. So even easier of a Ganon fight.
Yeah. Like, I don't expect there's going to be any need for it, but it's still, like, I'm just thinking of the principle of it, really. But if there's anything to go by, not even picking up the full magic afterwards at 3/4 of a bar, just thinking, yeah, I got this, no problem. The catch would be if you somehow die in the last phase, or if you fall off and you've already burned 2, 3, 4 Fire Rod juices on that phase. Then it starts getting a bit more worrisome. Evanidus is not going to open that chest, which is absolutely fine. There is no item that could help them at this point.
Nothing.
Oh, very interesting room strat there. I have never seen that before. That is fantastic. I imagine that does wonders in bootless, capeless seeds.
Yeah. Yes, that would definitely help that a lot.
Nice double on the first hit there. Oh, this is not such a good pattern now.
Oh, and then he got blue balls. Oh.
Yeah, but he still got the hit, which is good. Okay. With the pattern that's been set up here, I would be perfectly fine getting that as a full cycle. That was
nice.
Awesome.
Very well done.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a lot. How quick is he mashing to get those slashes off there?
He is mashing.
Wow.
All right, Evanidus
was some impressive button speed.
That was very impressive. And Evanidus heading into Ganon fight. Very, very easy fight with Butter Sword and Silver Arrows as DT finishes up Trolldorm 2.
Alright, not quite vanilla text, obviously, but as close as it gets with the randomizer text there. That's an interesting spot to be here. Yes, that's probably one of the nicest spots that you could get Ganon to be for Phase 2, when you've got this sword.
Yeah. Oh, DT didn't get any on the first try.
Yeah, see, that's what I mean. Like, this is a really, really rough pattern, and Evanidus did fantastically well to get it done as quick as he did.
Yes, he did. And on to the final phase with one hit.
Misses torch glitch, doesn't really matter too much. Gonna have to just be mindful about when the torches go out here. Because you don't want to get overly aggressive.
Almost got
on
the
this.
triple.
There we go.
There he goes.
And this is actually a surprisingly quick seed overall.
Yeah, there was just a couple moments where they had to do a few extra things and take a little extra time, but overall, very, very quick seed, 139.
Yep. Evanidus finishing of an official SRL time of 1 hour, 39 minutes, and 16 seconds. Well played.
GG to Evanidus, and with that, he gets the bye this weekend. Doesn't have to do the tiebreaker race, so congratulations to him on that. And meanwhile, DT is heading into Ganon, not too far behind.
Yeah, and being a Ganon fight behind, especially a Ganon fight with these resources, is really not that bad. It is that is what I would call definition of a close race, you know.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, one fall by Evanidus, a death, anything like that would have completely changed the results.
Yeah, execution was on point. Oh, we see the bee come out. DT knows what's up here. He has seen the dot done. He's just like, I don't even care anymore. That bee is staying here.
Finally releasing the bee from its bottle. Gonna have some fun with the rest of this Ganon fight. Won't be too hard for him as he's about to head into the 4th phase.
Okay, I was worried he was gonna get hit there. Oh, gets a triple at the start. That is a phenomenal setup there.
Great triple by DT. And he's gonna get his final one here. And there he goes.
So the bee will follow us through to the Triforce room. Your face for sale. The best possible comeback.
That is great. And DT walks through the fanfare and finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 41 minutes flat.
Yeah.
Just what is that? That's 36 seconds. No, 46 seconds behind. Really close
1
race.
1 minute 46 seconds.
1 minute. Correct. 1 minute 46.
Yeah. 1 minute 44 seconds behind. That is really, really close.
I can't math.
It's okay. Zora had the mirror, and that was quite a rough one for both players. Evanidus did get it a little bit quicker, but that's because DT did the Fate Flipper's water walk stuff to get the Waterfall Fairy as well.
Yeah, that is correct. Overall, really close race. They both had a couple of decisions that ended up hurting them. Turtle Rock for Evanidus, Ice Palace for DT, but in the end, it was a really, really close race.
Alright, I guess we'll just have to see. Evanidus is not doing interviews, but he is in chat, so feel free to ask any questions that you want. I'm assuming if DT wants an interview, he'll probably just bring himself in here because he has the power to do so. So we'll see if that happens.
And once again, just to remind everybody, this was a 3-2 record race with the winner, Evanidus, getting the 4th win and advancing to the group stages. DT is not eliminated. He does have a chance to make it to that stage as well, as he is a 3-3 and is in the tiebreaker race. That'll be Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yep, that is the standard weekly time, and it's gonna be a heck of a race. I imagine the way that it's gonna be set up, like I don't know anything when it comes to the restream stuff, but I imagine if I was doing this myself, it'd be very similar to the way that the qualifiers were done, where there will be maybe 4. Oh, never mind that. The storybook. The book was on the pedestal.
Oh, all right.
So that obviously means that the Titans Met Flute mirror thing was required in order to do test it.
Yes. That book was never going to get found.
Yeah, so anyway, what I imagine will happen is that there'll be 4 races on at a time, and it'll cycle through when people finish. More races will be brought on stream, etc., kind of like how the qualifiers were done. But again, that is speculation on my end. But
yeah,
that makes the most sense.
Yeah, they have a lot of options. They do have plenty of channels if they do want to have multiple channels of 4. It'll be interesting to see how they go. Either way, there will be at least one channel showing 4 racers and trying to show the ones that are closest to the lead. If hard to discover, hard to know that at times. But as they're getting into the Ganon Tower, they'll be able to figure out where and who might be in the lead.
Absolutely. So, what do you think of this seed overall then?
You know, it actually wasn't too bad of a seed. Started really slow. They had to do a lot of stuff, but once they got going, besides the Meyer play, it was and the flippers on the ferry. But that I felt like that was an easy decision to make, just because you were given the access and ability to defeat both of those bosses, to give access to that pretty early. Overall, not too trolly of a seed. The Kane being in vanilla big chest in Meyer was a little bit of a troll.
Yeah, I have to say that Kane pretty much defined the race. Not going in and getting that was a really bad decision in hindsight, but it is also not one that you would expect to have to do, because the worst place that an item can be in Randomizer is in its vanilla dungeon, right? It's the same with the hammer in Palace of Darkness or the fire rod in Skull Woods. There's so many options that way. The worst place that you can put something is in the one place that you really need it.
Yes.
That, unfortunately, I think is what defined this one. Seeing the literally vanilla Kane, which is something I've never seen before. Again, I've seen it in Maya, but I've never seen it actually in the big chest. That was a neat one for me. And
straight up vanilla, the vanillaest of vanillas.
And yeah, I think that was really the defining point, because if you went in and took the risk and checked it, you would do really well with this, and if not, unfortunately not. Yeah. But even at that, it was still very, very close in the end. Less than 2 minutes apart. That is something else. That just goes to show the quality of the play that we have in this tournament. To be that close, despite taking effectively entirely different gambles here, really says a lot.
Yeah, it really says a lot. Both runners had a great run. DT, both of them, they played really well. Their execution was very well done. You can see a little bit of the nerves every once in a while, but if you enjoyed what you saw, please give our runners a follow. They put on a great show for you, and both of them still have races to go in the tournament, so give them a follow.
Absolutely. So, speaking on that, there has been some questions about the schedule here. Have you got it up at all? Do you know what's coming next?
I believe on this channel we do have another one at 5 p.m. it looks like on this channel, as well as there's another one on Speed Gaming 2. If I'm not mistaken, there's also one currently going on channel 4 with Dragon Master 0283 versus Dragon C0, I believe is how it is.
The Dragon Duel.
Yes, the Dragon Duel. So plenty of matches, and I think we're 3 races into a total of 13 today, so plenty of randomizer action going on today.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, if another race is supposed to be starting at 5, that is pretty much right now, so...
That is correct.
I reckon, since it doesn't look like DT will be coming in for an interview either, I reckon we'll just wrap this up. So... yeah, we started slightly late because the previous race overran, but that's fine. This was a fantastic seed for catching us back up.
Yes.
And yeah, thank you guys very much for tuning in. Do not leave your seats, I suppose, if you want to see some more rando. That is going to be coming up in a sec. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you for joining me on the commentary. And yeah, take us on out of here.
All right, and like we said, there's plenty of speed gaming action following after this, with one immediate following. I'd like to give another quick shout out to both our runners, In the Name of DT and Evanidus. Both had a great race. I'd like to thank my co-commentator Gamer Cal, as well as our tracker Math Girl, and of course Fiesel for making all of this possible and restreaming everything for us. It's a great race. I've been Sir Laugh-A-Lot, and I hope everybody has a great day. Enjoy the rest of Randos.